All right, first off, I want to congratulate the 49ers on winning a close, tough, competitive game against the Rams. That game-winning drive by Jimmy Garoppolo was beastly. You had 2 third and 16s, and Jimmy Garoppolo converted both. One over the middle to get the first down, and the second one down the field to get them into field goal range. Absolutely beautiful. Spectacular. Jimmy Garoppolo himself, he didn't have a spectacular game himself. He had 2 interceptions. He had a touchdown pass, which was to George Kittle. And overall, he wasn't really necessarily accurate, but it wasn't all his fault. He got sacked 6 times. That Rams defensive line got all over him in this game, and he got sacked 6 times. If a quarterback is going to get sacked 6 times, don't expect the greatest game out of him. So Jimmy wasn't spectacular, but when you needed him to make plays, good Lord, he made plays. The touchdown drive to give them the lead, and this game-winning drive to set up the field goal, Jimmy was spectacular in them. So give all the credit to Jimmy in that offense for getting it done when they needed to. Now, both defenses, for the most part, were not necessarily great in this game because both of them gave up over 30 points. This game ended 34-31. But at the end of the day, when you needed somebody to show up in a shootout, we saw it with the 49ers when they went up against the Saints. When you need Jimmy Garoppolo to show up late in the game to set up a game-winning drive, he can do it. He did it with Kittle to set them up with that field goal drive against the Saints. And he did it here again, throwing the ball down the field on a 3rd and 16, converting it, getting into field goal range, and setting up his kicker for yet another game-winning field goal kick. So the 49ers, man, just like the Ravens, they're finding ways to win against tough competitors. So shout out to them. All the credit to the 49er fans, all the credit to this 49er team. They're showing up. They are showing up. And if the New Orleans Saints do not get to the Super Bowl, I hope it's the 49ers in the Super Bowl, because I would absolutely love that. As for the Rams, congratulations. For the first time under Sean McVay, you're not going to the playoffs. You've been eliminated from playoff contention. You went out there and you gave it your all, and it wasn't enough. Who do you want to blame? I blame the defense. Now, granted, Goff himself was not spectacular, but there were moments in the game where Jared Goff actually looked like the Jared Goff we saw last year. He had some throws where I was like, that's the Jared Goff I remember seeing last season. That same Jared Goff that took this team to the Super Bowl. He was making throws and plays like that. Now, they came out in the first drive. They came out hot. Jared Goff was rolling to his right and rolling to his left, extending plays and throwing the ball down the field, and he got a touchdown pass after it. After that, for the most part, he started to struggle. He really started to struggle. It didn't take till the second half where he started getting himself together and started making those passes that we saw from him last season. And, he made a couple great plays, but it wasn't enough because his defense today, that secondary, man, whew, the defensive line showed up. Aaron Donald and that defensive line showed up. They got to Garoppolo 6 times, 6 sacks. They were great, and they actually, they did what they needed to. Heck, even out of the secondary, you got 2 interceptions. In fact, Jalen Ramsey got his first interception as a Ram in this game. So, good on him. But still, this secondary, oh my God, this secondary couldn't make stops when they needed to. They just kept giving up big plays, and they kept giving up points, and it was just terrible. That touchdown drive that Garoppolo and the 49ers had, where Garoppolo threw that touchdown pass to Kittle, that was all the tight ends, and they couldn't make a stop. In fact, when Garoppolo hit one of the other tight ends, Eric Weddle comes out of nowhere and commits a personal foul. What are you doing? Why are you hitting the tight end in his head and neck area? What are you thinking? That's gonna be a 15-yard penalty. Eric, you gotta be better than that. So yeah, that happens. Next thing you know, they give up the touchdown pass to George Kittle. And I'm like, well, looks like they're gonna lose this game. But Goff and the offense, they go down the field, they tie the game with a field goal. And now you're just thinking, here's the final drive. Maybe this defense can make a stop and get your team to overtime. Nope. As I said earlier, 2 times this defense put them in a 3rd and 16 position. The first one was converted, in which Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball over the middle to Samuel. He gets the first down. The second one, Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball down the field to a wide open receiver, and I could not believe it was that open. And it made it look like Jalen Ramsey was at fault there, when really Jalen Ramsey was expecting safety help over the top because the safety was covering grass. Not a single receiver was near this dude. I don't know where he was going. So obviously, as a corner, you see the safety open there and he's not covering anyone. You're expecting safety help over the top. But instead of getting that, you got this idiot just running all over the field, just running around the field, running up the field, covering nobody, and he allowed this big play to happen. So now both he and Ramsey look like an idiot for allowing a wide open receiver to get that open in that situation with the game on the line. He catches the ball. Of course he's going to catch the ball. He's that open. Catches the ball, falls down at the 20, then field goal range, and the game's pretty much over. And with that, the Rams got eliminated from the playoffs because their defense couldn't make stops when they needed to. Quite sad, really, but it's not as sad as the future of this team. I mean, you got a quarterback in Jared Goff where you don't even know if you can trust him. He's regressed from last year. It ain't looking good. Then you got a running back in Todd Gurley whose knees, you can't even trust his knees. You don't know where the future of his knees are going to be. It's looking bad. And then you got a corner in Jalen Ramsey that's going to want $20 million. You're going to be in some serious trouble, man. Like, it's not looking good for the Rams. They are screwed for the future. This was their time. Now. They needed to win now. Losing that Super Bowl hurt them, and they didn't even manage to get back to the playoffs this season. That is embarrassing. Sean McVay is starting to get exposed as not being the genius, the young genius head coach as we all thought he was going to be. It's starting to look bad for him. It's starting to look bad for this team, and the future of the Rams is looking even worse. So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're in some serious trouble. As for the 49ers, prepare for Week 17. That epic battle with the Seattle Seahawks for the NFC West is going to be something everybody wants to watch. If you can get that number 1 seed, you get the bet. If you can get that, if you can get this win, you get the number 1 seed most likely because you already beat the Saints. You can get the number 1 seed in the NFC, and you'll have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, which will really help because you know the Saints may end up coming back there. And Drew Brees and that Saints team, their history over there in San Francisco is kind of bad, especially in the postseason. You all know what I'm talking about. We're not going to talk about it, but you know what I'm talking about. So if you can get the Saints to go to San Francisco, whoo, y'all might just have your ticket to get to the Super Bowl. But yeah, rest up, prepare for Week 17, because that Seahawks team is going to be tough to beat. They are going to be tough to beat. And I believe it's in Seattle, which is going to make it worse. So prepare for that matchup. And the Rams, you're screwed. You're screwed. I don't know what to tell you. You're screwed. It's over. So yeah, that's all I got. I'm out of here. Rams are screwed. Peace out.